a light inside of you. So let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Don't let nothing push you down. Stand with the bow. Yes, we believe in you. Yeah. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you go make a one day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W Initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.
Mama Fauzi at the latest Alaja. This year Haji went on. I hope you pray for a shot because this year we must make plenty money.
And inshallah, this year we'll all make plenty profit.
When your customers miss you, Sha, there is always someone checking on you.
I miss them too. At least it will justify all the charges I keep getting. It's too much wallahi.
Oh, Mama Fauziat, why do you keep stressing yourself? All you need is the right account for your business. We use the Access Bank's business account.
Tolu is right. I use Access Bank's DBA Classic account. And you see that monthly fixed charge? I love it. No hidden charges. I know how much I spend monthly on my business, which makes it easy to calculate my profit.
And I use the DBA Flex account. It is pay as you transact, and it is even discounted though.
So that means I can choose between Access Bank DBA Flex or DBA Classic depending on my type of business.
Exactly.
You people should be giving me these updates.
I'll go to Access Bank tomorrow.
Running a business could be tough, but banking shouldn't be. Banks matter with our Access Bank DBA Classic or DBA Flex account, depending on your business needs. For more information, visit any of our Access Bank branches or send an email to welovesmes@accessbankplc.com. Because at Access Bank, we love SMEs.
We hit the road today to spread the good news about the W initiative of Access Bank. We sensitize both customers and staffs at different branches on the different offerings of the W initiative, ranging from our loan products to capacity building, advisory, and so much more. We encourage women to join the W community on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, at the W community. And also, we encourage them to sign up on the newly relaunched W website at www.dwcommunity.com. It is a community of winning women where we inspire, connect, and empower them. We invite you today to join the W community and also bring one woman on board, because together we can do much more.
Our goal is to continue to be number one in inspiring, connecting, and empowering women. We encourage you to join this movement. Tell someone about the W community today.
We can't do it all alone. We need you, and you to tell a woman about the W community.
Each one, bring one.
Wonderful afternoon to you, and welcome to the W Career Series, proudly brought to you by the W Initiative of Access Bank. At the W, we are the home of everything Access Bank has to offer women. Our aim is to inspire, connect, and empower women. And one of such ways by which we do that is by bringing you insightful conversations such as this. And so you're welcome. I'd like to specially and warmly welcome you to this session. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and welcome. My name is Ethel Omoto. I am a gender professional and events compare, and today it is an absolute pleasure to be your moderator on this session today. Now, we have put together a session titled Maximizing Your 9 to 5 for Wealth, Wellness, and Life Goals. And if you're just joining us, this is proudly brought to you by the W Initiative of Access Bank. Now, before we get started, I'd like you to, introduce yourself in the comment section. If you are not just joining our webinar, this is not your first time of joining us, I am sure that you know how we do it. You'd like to introduce yourself, tell us your name and where you're joining us from. And while you are at it, please mention to your friends that the W Initiative is live, and we are going to be talking about a very salient topic that applies to all professionals. So be sure to sit back and enjoy every bit of the session that we have brought to you today. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us once again. Now, today's conversation is very, very important because many professionals are increasingly, asking questions. How do I grow my career intentionally? How do I build financial stability with the current opportunities that I have? How do I position myself for the kind of life that I want to live? Now, the reality is that our 9 to 5 can do much more than just be a source of income for us. It can be a platform for growth, for opportunities, for visibility, for impact, and so much more, if only we can be very intentional about the way we go about it. Now, today we will be hearing from three very experienced speakers who will be sharing practical insights with us on how to navigate professional life more intentionally. However, to officially kickstart this session, I'd like you to join me in welcoming the head of the women banking team at Access Bank. Please welcome, with your virtual class in the comment section like we always do, Nene Kunle Ogunlusi. Good afternoon, Nene, and welcome.
Good afternoon, Ife. Thank you so much for setting the tone for this meeting. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another impactful session in the Career Women series, proudly brought to you by the W Initiative of Access Bank, where we empower, connect, and we inspire, connect, and empower women to thrive in their local communities. Now, if you're here with us, I am so excited to have you join us today. And if you're as excited as I am, I would like you to put in the comment section, I'm ready, I'm excited, let's go. So thank you. So on behalf of the W Initiative of Access Bank, I'm delighted to welcome everyone to today's session, where we'll be talking about maximizing your 9 to 5 for wealth, wellness, and life's goals. Now, this is a very important topic, and what we're doing here today covers everything about the professional. Now, this is very important because people are asking questions. How do I build wealth while in full-time employment? How do I measure my goals? How do I meet my health needs? The silent fears we have, the things we cannot share, the things we share with our friends, the little anxieties that we feel when we're alone or when we're with friends. What we've done today is to bring the professionals on this field to discuss and add some color to this topic. Now, 9 to 5 shouldn't actually be just a routine, a daily activities where you go to work and come back. No, it's more than that. It's supposed to be a platform where you meet people, where you achieve goals, where you dream of greater things. And then it's a platform where there's so many opportunities. And that is what we're trying to achieve with this webinar today. I will encourage everybody here to pay very close attention. Just one word from any of our professional speakers can be a change and a turning point for you today. Take notes, ask questions, participate very actively. And to our lineup of speakers, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We appreciate you, and we appreciate the time and expertise you put into empowering people. Let the session begin. Ife, over to you. Thank you. Let's have an impactful session today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nene. That was the group of the women banking team at Access Bank. And like she rightly said, this is put together for you, for professionals, so that we can be much more intentional about the way we go about our 9 to 5. And you know what? I love it when my audience are very, very active. I asked you to introduce yourselves in the comment section. So I see a lot of people saying hello to us. Aniabet from Edo State, Suleya from Abuja, Lizzie from Port Harcourt, and Esther from Ogun State. We see you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and you are very, very much welcome. Without further ado, we have set the stage for a very insightful and practical conversation around how professionals can be intentional about maximizing their 9 to 5 for wealth, wellness, and life goals. And so as we move forward, we're going to transition into the heart of today's conversation. But before we do that, I'd like you to follow us across our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X at the W Community. And make sure to click the subscribe button just below so that you can get first-hand information every time we come online to discuss topics that are very salient for you, such as this. So please make sure to follow us across all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X at the W Community. Thank you so much and welcome. Now, today, like I said, we are privileged to be joined by an exceptional lineup of speakers who bring a wealth of experience across career development, leadership, finance, and professional growth. And then each of them will be sharing practical insights, real life experiences, and actionable strategies that we can learn from as professionals. And for people who are not even professionals here, I'm sure that there are so much more that you can also learn here. So please make sure not to go anywhere. Now, the very first speaker I will be introducing is a renowned business leader, transformational strategist, and sustainability advocate with over 25 years of experience spanning financial services, consulting, and energy across Africa. She previously served as Global Head of Marketing and Product Management at Access Bank, where she drove the bank's expansion across 8 African countries and the UK. She has also led transformational projects for global brands, including BMW, First Bank Holdings, Total, Qatar Airways, and so on. She leads conversations around innovation, leadership, and the future of work. She's a highly sought after international keynote speaker, and she brings a wealth of insight on career growth, leadership, resilience, and navigating opportunities in a rapidly evolving world. Her global executive educational background and numerous leadership awards further positions her as a powerful voice for young professionals seeking to build impact. So please, put your virtual claps in the comment section and welcome with me, Dr. Chizo Malisi. Good afternoon, Dr. Malisi. It's so good to have you join us.
Lovely to be here. Looking forward to this beautiful ride this evening.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. It is so good to have you as well. Now, our second speaker is a certified financial education instructor and finance expert with over 22 years of experience in investment management, pensions, treasury operations, and capital markets. He has held leadership roles at the likes of Fidelity Bank, FCMB Pensions, and so on and so forth. Passionate about financial literacy and wealth creation, he is widely respected for simplifying personal finance and investment concepts for professionals and everyday Nigerians. He is an alumnus of Lagos Business School, the New York Institute of Finance, and the West African Capital Market School. Please welcome with me, Mr. Kalu Aja. Good afternoon, Mr. Kalu. Welcome.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. And lastly, we are joined by a finance professional and financial literacy advocate with over 17 years of experience in the finance industry, specializing in financial management and investment. She's a certified financial education instructor and a member of the Financial Literacy Technical Committee of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Nigeria. She's also passionate about investor education as well as asset management. She holds an MBA from Nextford University, and she's certified in living with finance from Harvard Business School. Our practical approach to financial empowerment makes her a very valuable voice in this session today. So please welcome with me my third speaker, Mrs. Toyin Alasi. Good afternoon, Ma.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we go into the crux of the matter, and firstly, I would like us to start at the foundation, which is earning. By the way, we're going to be moving from a very a flow that is not as usual as we always have. We want to move from how you earn into how you manage your finances, into how you leverage resources and how you sustain yourself. And so I'd like us to start from the foundation, which is earning, because a lot of professionals, they assume that, oh, if I can just earn more. I'm sure so many people came into this session with the mindset that, oh, they're going to teach me how to get extra income from this session today. However, we are saying that, yes, it's good to have extra income. However, you need to learn how to manage what you have, because if you cannot manage what you have properly, even the extra income may not make good difference. So today we are starting with you, Dr. Chizo. Now, many professionals feel stuck. I mean, financially, actually, despite having stable jobs. From your perspective, what do you think they're getting wrong about how they approach their 9 to 5?
You fizzled out at the last
Hi,
end of
Dr.
your
Cheese.
question. Yes, you fizzled out at the last
Oh,
end
I'm
of
so
your
sorry.
question. Many professionals get burnt
I'm
out.
so sorry about that.
Take it
Can you
all
hear
over.
me
Yes.
now?
Very well now, yes.
Okay, so I was asking that a lot of professionals feel stuck when it comes to finances, and despite the fact that they have good jobs or relatively good jobs. Now, I wanted you to speak to what you think they are getting wrong in the way they approach their 9 to 5.
Okay. So, the career and the term 9 to 5 refers to people who give a good number of their time to other organizations, institutions, ideas, or platforms for exchange, and that is financial exchange. And so within that sort of space, it means that they bring significant value to the table for which institutions, organizations, or other individuals are able to remunerate them for. Oftentimes, people feel that they are in a glut. They are not sure if they need a change. They are not sure if they need to get out of where they are. But most times, the pressure and burden is oftentimes around, are they earning enough? Are they earning as much as they require or they think or they perceive that they deserve? And so building a career is a long-term journey. You start somewhere, but that starts with a vision, oftentimes about where you want to go and where you want to be. So when people are always aligned to the vision of where they want to be, then it's easy for them to map their path. And we're speaking at this time foundationally in terms of the ways that people can ensure that they do not feel stuck. Which one is starting with a vision to map your path to say, where do I desire to be? Where do I desire to go? How far in this career and how far in this journey do I want to get to? And the moment that is very well defined, it's easy to then keep checking your boxes in terms of your journey and how much more you need to do to get you where you are. I always encourage people to be very dynamic about the things that they do, because sometimes people feel stuck about the things they do because they just do one thing. If you're flexible about the learnings you have, the experiences you have, the exposure you have, and you're diverse, it means that you can actually change your job content and not your job, because you can move away from the place where you feel stuck into another role. In my experiences as an individual, I've always asked all the organizations that I worked for where interests me, and I moved to where interests me. In some cases, they say to me, oh, you do not have the qualification to do X, Y, Z. And I very quickly recalibrate because it interests me, get an advanced degree or qualifications to be able to get into that. Sometimes there are certifications, sometimes there are additional degrees. When I switched over to marketing, the managing director said to me, oh, you didn't have a marketing first degree, you don't have a marketing master's degree, how would you do marketing? In 2 years, I put my MBA with a specialization in marketing on the table for him and said, I'm moving to marketing. And of course, nobody knew I was taking that degree. So I got myself unstuck, for instance. So unstuck in the sense that I was not doing what I wanted to do anymore, what fulfilled me. I was also not doing what I saw myself do into the future. And that's the reason why I spoke about vision. You must be clear about where you're going, where you want to be, and what your vision is for your career. And you must be able to take responsibility for recreating your story. So you unplug yourself from where you feel stuck and plant yourself where you want to go. And that's just how best to be practical about it. I could share more, but I know that there are people who can have other perspectives.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ma. And two things I picked from what you said is first aligning with your vision of where you want to be, and then the flexibility comes because a lot of people just feel like just think that it's about working so hard. They forget about the positioning, right? And so I wanted to go to this next question for you. How can professionals become more intentional, when it comes to their career in terms of how to improve their earning potential? Because I know that this is a question that a lot of people want to hear about.
Right. Earning potential is about value, value, and value. People pay for what they think gives them value. And the reason value is at the center of it is no matter the level that you are in terms of a professional, you can bring value to the table. Whether you are junior, whether you're mid-level, whether you're senior. And value can come in different ways. Your turnaround time, the quality of what you put in, the extra mile that you go, the innovation that you bring to the table. Because oftentimes you are actually, sometimes in the professional environment, people like to do what they're asked to do. But value is that about taking the bar higher and bring to the table what your supervisors are not even thinking about. So you're making yourself very valuable, making yourself very visible as well, because people would always call to the table the people they think are available. And so long as you do a lot of these things, you'd grow in your career because people would always make recommendations for you, sponsor you, speak about you, even in the rooms that you are not. And it's about growth, because nobody's going to pay anybody more than they perceive that they deserve, but people would pay for the value that they see, for the fact that you're available, for the fact that you do innovative work, for the fact that you think ahead of the institution, for the fact that you are also able to translate the assignments and tasks into meaningful impact, both for yourself, for your colleagues, and for the organization at the same time. So it's value that people would reward.
Great. Value, visibility, and growth. Thank you so much, Dr. Malize. I'm still with you, and I think this is my last question to you on this segment. When you think back about your early days, you spent a lot of years in this professional field, and what are some of the realities or challenges that you faced around income growth, career progression, and so on and so forth? So I think that can also help a lot of people today.
Okay, so I would speak to career progression because career progression gives you already that income growth. So I would speak generally about the kind of challenges that I see people face, where one is how are they able to grow in their career? And I would build that upon what I said the last time about bringing value to the table, right? So besides bringing value to the table is also self-development. A lot of times people do not make investments in themselves. And so when they do not make investments in themselves to self-learn, to self-develop, they are what they are in the eyes of the institution and organizations where they work. So they can work in as entry-level officers, and they have the impression that they have to become middle-level officers to be able to advance their degrees and advance their learnings. And it's not usually just about the degrees, because for all that we know today, you can learn about anything, anywhere.
Yes.
And you can actually learn as you go, everywhere you are, because the platforms and technology has made that possible. So self-development means you must ask yourself, if I map my metrics, where are the gaps in terms of the knowledge that I have, the skills that I have, my attributes, what I bring to the table? And so the moment you are consistently self-developing, you're going to be elevating your game. You're going to be elevating your play. And what that means is that it will translate into the quality of work, the quality of output, and becoming visible within the institution can therefore make you grow. And so that growth will translate into more responsibility, more income, more earnings, but more importantly also self-actualization, and which is actually extremely very, very important in your career journey. You want to be satisfied with what you do, you want to feel accomplished, and more importantly, you want to be well recognized. So first is you make the investment in yourself, buff up yourself like great diamond, shine your lights like that, and so there is visibility within the organization. And no matter what you do not say, I love to be quiet, I love to be in my corner. No, you've got to be visible. There is no single way that I would know that Ifeoluwa is a brilliant enthusiastic finance expert if she does not show it. So shine your light and beam your light on yourself and be like the diamond buffed, glow, glow, glow. And with your glow, ensure that you have the right networks and connections within the institution who understand what you're doing, understand how you're adding value, and would always recommend you for opportunities.
Great, great. Very well said. Thank you so much, Ma. Very important is that we invest in ourselves, and that will fuel the confidence that we have to make ourselves visible. Thank you so much, Ma'am. Before I go to my next speaker, I want to make sure that everyone is following me. So please, if you have questions, please make sure to drop them in the Q&A session so that after the conversation, we're going to take them. So make sure to drop your questions. If you have anything directed that you want to direct to any of the speakers, ensure that you drop them in the Q&A section. Now, Mr. Kalu, I'm coming to you on this. Have you found out that, or do you know if many professionals focus so much on increasing income and neglect the structure that needs to be put in place in terms of managing it properly? What have you found out in this section?
Yeah, I think well, thanks for the question, and thanks for I was just taking lots of notes when she was speaking, the visibility, growth, value. Thank you. I have a whole note here. So yes, I think the structure is usually missing. We Nigerians or folks know how to earn money, but when we earn the money, then what next? Okay, we put in a bank and then we pay expenses and then that's it. But there has to be a structure around how you earn and what you do with the money that you've earned. And I can give you a very, very simple structure you can take down, right? So let's just think in your head, 4 boxes. The first box is going to be your income. And in that income, you've got to separate those 2 incomes. That's what we call active income, which is if you go to work or you have to be present, that you make active income. That's what we all do when we get a salary or a paycheck.
Yes.
But the most important income is what we call passive income. So you're not there, but you're earning money. That is where we forget. So most times we earn the salary, it's a lot of money, then we spend the salary or we sort of invest the salary after we've spent. But we don't look at the structure of saying that we want to build up. The reason why we're working is to build up our passive income. We want to convert our active income to our passive income over a long period of time. So when you get into work, as a management trainee or so a graduate, you just start work. Your responsibility is to convert salaries that are going to be paid when you start your job when you're 25 to a position where when you are 65, your expenses are being paid from your passive income and not from your active income. So you go back to your expenses, 2 boxes again. You've got your necessary expenses and then your discretionary expenses. The most important one is going to be your necessary expenses, your food, your medical, your rent, what you must pay for. So your entire plan, your entire structure as an employee, as a business owner, is to convert your active income to passive income so that it pays your necessary expenses. And you can do this over 25 years. Most folks will say, I work for myself. So if I work for myself, I'm making passive income. Not so. If you're a successful lawyer, you're an accountant, or you own your own business, you are still making active income because you still have got to go to work to earn the money. You've got to convert that active income into a position where you have an organization that folks can work under you. And if you step away, income still comes in. If you're working for someone, you've got to build out your investments, that investment then pay you a dividend or rental income or royalty. So when you're like 65, 70, then you've got that passive income. So final point, retirement is not an age. Retirement is when your passive income can pay your expenses. That's when you can retire. So that's your structure right there. 4 boxes, active, passive, necessary expenses, and discretionary expenses. And your entire reason, right, is to convert active income to passive income so it pays your expenses. Get that structure right, and you got it all done. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu. And I think that the investment dividend conversation is going on so much these days all around. When you open Instagram and everywhere, you're seeing people talking about investments and dividends. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu. Now, Mrs. Alasi, I'm coming to you. So from your perspective, do you think professionals underutilize opportunities available to them simply because maybe they don't fully understand how to position themselves financially?
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a great session. Thank you, Dr. Malize, for the tips, and Dr. Kalu as well. So absolutely, people waste a lot of opportunities, career people, employees especially, because one thing I like to say is that a lot of people don't realize that a 9 to 5 is not just about the salary, it's actually a platform. In my teachings, I'm always clear and very emphatic on the fact that many times employees think that is when I start my business, I can create wealth. But that's not true, because if there's anything employees or career people have to their advantage, is the consistency of their income. Predictability. You're not in business where you're not sure where the salary will come from this month and all. The moment you put in the work consistently, month on month, your salary hits your account. So that gives you leverage. In fact, I'd say that that's a good leverage. So many times the opportunities for career people are there, but they actually do miss it because of the lack of financial education. What financial education does is to help you build the financial skills and the discipline. In summary, let me put it makes you more financially intelligent to make the right financial decisions. So if you don't understand, for example, that this income you earn is actually your number one wealth building tool, for example, you won't use it the right way, and as such you miss opportunities. If you're in an organization where you have opportunities for credit and you're not leveraging it properly, you're missing opportunities. As an employee before in the bank, what I saw was many people will use the loans they get, the credits available to them, whether from within the system or outside the system, because organizations are willing to give you those facilities. They are great opportunities because of the consistency of your income and the reputable organization where you work. They take those loans for vacations and things like that. They buy clothes, they use it for funny things. Meanwhile, it's an opportunity to create wealth. You could buy lands, you could put it into something that could build wealth for you. So if we're not exactly educated, if we don't exactly know that or see that this is an opportunity, it is actually being wasted a lot of times.
Thank you so much. I think this is a very, very solid and valid point. And before the end of the session, we're going to introduce us to a few resources that are available to professionals at Access Bank. But I'm coming back to you, Mr. Kalu, and I'm sorry, but I think I'll take you back a little bit because while we understand that earning is important, and you also established that already, that earning without structure can leave people financially overwhelmed. Now, I wanted you to speak to why people still struggle financially, even though their income increases. Because I've heard a lot of times when people say, as your income increases, so your expenses increase as well. So I wanted you to speak to that, please.
Yeah. So everything is a plan. Everything is structure, right? And we really don't teach money in school. So folks just come and they earn money, but we don't know what to do with the salaries that we earn. So the very, very first thing why people struggle to answer your question is because we don't know what to do. If you put me in a 747 cockpit, I don't know how to fly the plane. I'll struggle to fly the plane. But if I'm trained as a pilot, I can go in, hit that button, the engine starts, I take off, I land. So just look at it as money. If you give me ₦1 million today, I know what to do with it. If you give me ₦1 million 20 years ago, I didn't know what to do with it, right? So you've got to have a structure which starts from a plan. What is your financial plan? That's the very, very first question. Once you have a financial plan, then there are things that you must do in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you get those 5 done, then it's even if you're not good with money, like some folks are not good with being an entrepreneur, But if you do this 5 or 4, then you are okay. Number one, you have a plan. Number two, if you have dependents, you go buy insurance. So you say, hey, I can't buy life insurance because you can't replace your life. But anything that happens to me, I have a replacement for income for my dependents. Number one is a plan. Number two is life insurance. Number three is an emergency fund, which means you want to have something that you have 3 to 6 months of your expenses. That expense I talked about, necessary expenses, 3 to 6 months, you have it. Number one, plan. Number two, life insurance. Number three, you want to do your emergency fund. Number four, you want to start to plan towards your retirement the day you start to work. So in Nigeria, you do PFA. America, you do 401k. You want to do 1, 2, 3, 4 before you start to invest and spend. Like we just talked about, people get the loan from the bank, they go on a holiday. But imagine if you got the loan from the bank and you had, number one, you had your plan. Number two, you bought life insurance. Number three, you had an emergency fund. Number four, you did your PFA and the rest, right? If you went to London and you bought lots of bags in London, at least you've got a structure back that you can fall back on as you get more knowledge to then expand that knowledge. You can then say, okay, I've maybe wasted 5 years. Now I can come back and start to do my passive income, my active income. Yeah. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have that structure, then I'm going to go from 1 to 2, they're going to struggle. That's where the budget comes in. If you have a plan, then of course you have a budget, because your budget is going to say, I want to buy a house in 10 years. Hence, I want to budget to buy the house. Most times you hear people say, I have a budget. Okay, but why do you have the budget? I don't know, but I have a budget. So to answer to your question, we struggle because we don't know what to do. But once you lay it out in a schedule, do this, do this, do this, it becomes clearer. I give you a good example. What you have to do every year to say, how much did I make this year from active income? Maybe I made 10 million. Your target annually is to say, I want to increase my passive income by this percentage every single year. First year is 1%, second year is 2%, third year is 3%. That gives you a focus on what to do. So I earn 10 million, I want to make at least 3% of passive income from that 10 million by the next year. If you have that sort of plan, you already, so you have the end goal, then you have to work back and say, oh, to make 3%, I have to invest, I have to buy shares, I have to buy property, I have to buy land, I have to stop spending. Because the way you make 3% to slow down on spending. Have a plan, implement the plan. That helps you in just doing it by vibes. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu. And I'm still with you, because I can imagine someone in their rooms now saying, oh, you're talking to people that are earning a lot of money, right? Yeah. So what do you have to say to people who believe that they're not earning so much?
So I go back to the first presentation that we heard from Dr. She said, you have to build your skills. The first place you invest in is yourself. If you're not making a lot of money, then the little money you have, invest in yourself and learn a skill. You know what she said? She said, go train yourself and then put yourself where you're going to get hired. So if you come out in Nigeria today with a BSc, quote unquote, everyone has a BSc. If you come out with an MBA, everybody has an MBA. But if you do MBA, you know some IT, you know some law, you know some coding, you know something that the banks want or employers want, then you become more high, you can get more hireable, right? And when you get hireable, you get income. So instead of you saying, I have 100K, I want to do crypto so I can make 1 million, take the 100K and train yourself, get a skill. So then the skill gives you more income, and then the income becomes your first seed to then make that 1 million. So look at it that way, that you are the best investment, right? If you don't have the money, the little money you have, train yourself. The bulk of Nigerian IT folks are self-trained. So there's stuff you can do. Once you train yourself in something that you can then sell those services, make more passive income, have multiple streams of incomes, it's easier for you to then make more money than to take the little money you have and try to chase and get a higher return. It's usually easier to get a skill and get income than taking little funds to then try and get more return on investment. Yeah.
Very well said. Thank you, Mr. Khan. And I think there are so many resources available everywhere for people to actually invest in themselves. So many of them may not even cost you too much, just a little bit. So thank you so much. I wanted you to also speak to how much of financial management you think is actually behavioral, because I mean there are some behavioral patterns that can make financial stability a problem for people who are not so disciplined. And also, how much of the financial management would you say is behavioral?
It's 100%, you see, because human beings are not rational. The reason why we struggle is that we look at money and we're emotional, right? We follow the herd. We all invest in crypto because everybody's doing crypto. We don't understand, so we just follow. So if we were not emotional, it would be easy. You make money, you save 20%, you retire, you have money. But we're not. We all spend. Don't think anyone talking to you is better. We just know the systems. So when you have the knowledge, you can follow the systems and it's easier for you. But we are all behavioral. We are all emotional. We want to look good. We want to enjoy early. So that allows us not to be grounded, to keep a budget, to be disciplined. Good example, we're in Africa. So you say, oh, my uncle asking me for money. I have to send money home to my uncle. The most important investment you should do is your retirement, not even your kids' education, your retirement, because when you are older, you can't work. You can't work. If you have that knowledge, okay, then from day one, I have to start to plan when I cannot work. My house, my income, my healthcare, when I can no longer work. But we're emotional. Oh, my uncle needs money. So you send him your seed that you have invested, because it's a good thing to do. It's a Christian thing to do to help people, but it's not a rational thing to do when you don't have the funds and you have to invest in yourself first to make more money. Dangote can help more people today than it could help 25 years ago because it's got more resources. So it's all emotional, and we've got to be a bit more cold, in quote, in how we look at money and how we spend, and try to use systems and budgets so you take away the personal proclivities from how you invest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlo. I think that was very, very, very well said. Dr. Chizo, I'm back to you, and I wanted you to speak to this from a leadership perspective. How early should professionals start having intentional conversations around money, financial planning in their careers? Because I mean, for somebody who is starting work maybe at the age of 20, 25, like Mr. Carlo said, you can still think, oh, let me just take the first 5 years and, go around the world and do a lot of, but how early do you think someone should be thinking about this?
Day one, as a matter of fact. And when you work your math, you find out that day one would work. And just to put some structure to the brilliant summation that Carlo had mentioned, especially in terms of savings and putting money away. Every single person who earns from day one should be able to work with this formula to be able to keep money away. I advise people to put 50% of their earning on their expenditure. And your expenditure is different if you're entry level, if you're middle level, if you've got children. But 50% of your earning should go to cover your cost and expenditure. 30% should go to savings, and 20% should go to investments. And the reason this 50-30-20 formula works is because you can flip it anyhow that you want. At your early career and when you're younger or your midlife, your 50% should be able to cover every single thing that at least you're working. So you should be able to bear your cost, whether it's on transportation, on energy, on food, and everything for the family. And then at 30, you're also able to put some money away, even if you are entry level, even if you are mid-level. And your 20% means you want to make investments such as Carlo had mentioned. When you're thinking retirement, that's your 20% should actually be funding your retirement. What sort of investment is available? Can I buy shares that can grow in another 5-10 years? Can I buy a piece of real estate? Can I buy a land? Because land will always appreciate. And if you accumulate your 20% over time, whatever investment you want to make, honestly, you would be able to make investment in that regard. You can buy shares of 20% of your income. You can also buy shares of 20 million if that is what your 20% converts into, whichever one. And you can buy lands that your 20% can cover, and you can aggregate your 20% for 5 years to be able to buy the land that you want to buy. But the most important thing is, if you work with this sort of model, whatever your income level is, you'll be able to spread it out. Now, I'll tell you this, 50, 30, 20 can flip again when your situation changes. The individual who's got all children out of school and is still in employment, of course, has much more than 50%, has less than 50% expenditure, isn't it? So they may actually begin to even do more investments. So you can flip your 50, 30, 20 anyhow that you want, depending on your stage of life and your, but do not manage your expenditure around 50% so that you can have some savings and some investments. So that tells you that there is no age that is too early. In practical terms, I have a niece who spent time with me for NYSC. And so when she reached out to me and said, oh, I want to do my NYSC from your home because it's proximate to where I'm going to be able to get the opportunity, it was great. But I can tell you for free, when I shared the 50, 30, 20 principle with her, and she translated out of NYSC just this April, she told me she already had a savings of 2 million naira from NYSC. And that's a fact.
That's huge.
So that early introduction is definitely going to be a changer for her. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Malizi. Mrs. Alashi, I'm back to you at this point now. What point does proper financial management create the foundation for people to begin leveraging tools like credit?
Well, it begins once you start to earn, like it has been said, once you start to earn an income. As a matter of fact, I recommend that you get financial advisory immediately. So, I remember when we were leaving school, I was just getting into the bank at the time, and I had a friend who was about to get married. And she and her husband to be at the time put their money together, and they were able to build a house. They started to build a house once they got into the relationship and they knew it was going to work out well. So they started to build, and on their after the wedding night, they actually slept the night in their own home. Overnight, they took loans, they leveraged credit to be able to build that house, and they had their wedding night in their own house, and they were young graduates. So there's really no time where you can't take leverage or you can't use leverage. You can use it at any time. You can be single and take a loan from the bank to buy your first land. As long as you have an income coming in, why not? But what I would recommend is what Mr. Kalu has said, financial plan. What is the plan? What is the vision? What is the destination? It's different for different people, like Dr. Chiza just said, because we're all at different places financially. So once you have that plan clearly made, you then begin to execute. Now, when it comes to credit, there are things you don't take credit to do, because I am a very, very strong advocate against the use of credit for lifestyle. You don't take, for example, when you have a clear structure that you're working with, why should you take a loan to pay your bills? That means there's no structure. That's the whole idea of the structure, 50, 30, 20, the financial planning, setting this aside, do this. That's the whole idea. It is not, credit is not for your monthly rent or your annual rent. In Nigeria, we pay annually. Your rent is a monthly bill. It is part of the 50% that Dr. Chizo talked about. So depending on where you are per time, it would then mean that, 50% doesn't cover enough, so I need to extend to 70. It just depends. It varies for different people. So there are things you don't take a loan for. The needs, your needs are meant to be catered to from your income, not from a loan. your needs for food, your need for transportation, your need for maybe clothing, basic things that you need for life. So when we talk about leverage, we must understand that there is good debt and bad debt. I always tell people that the reason people get into debt is because they have lack of savings. They don't save at all. If you have savings aside, once there's an emergency, for example, again, leverage is not for parties, birthday party. I want to get my wife a gift for her birthday, and then you have to borrow for it. The other time, a client was telling me how that the moment they got married, his wife became uncomfortable with the kind of generator they had. She wanted a bigger one that could power more things, and the next thing was to go get a loan for it. The question is, how is that leverage? That's not leverage. That's a wrong use of credits and loans. So regardless of where you are, just know what you are taking the credit for, right? Don't take credit for lifestyle. Don't take it for a birthday, for food, for clothing, for shoes. I mean, I was a banker, and as a banker, we would normally go to stores, and I was a banker that had a lot of loans. Trust me, my first house as a banker. Let me even tell you why this is very important. When I joined the bank in 2005 as a youth corps member, I served in the bank. I would, because I wanted to live up to the standard. As a banker, I mean, the youth service amount was 9,000 at the time. And so I needed to live up to the standard because I was one of the few bankers who were in the bank, few corps members who were in the banks at the time. So it wasn't a common practice. So I needed to look the part. So I started to borrow, to buy clothes on credit. And you know, those people, those artisans are people doing business, they target people like us because they know our salary is consistent. So you will get loans for things like that. And it became an issue. Now someone is living, Dr. Chize shared the story of our niece, who by privilege of access to learn from her was able to come out of NYC with 2 million. I came out with debts. That's knowledge is the difference. I was young, she's young, and our outcome is different. Same 1 year NYC service, and it's different. Why? Because of the lack of knowledge of how to use credit. I felt I just needed to live up to the standard, and I had to just take money, So, and that pattern continued for 8 years of my career. I was earning more at the time because I was retained. I was earning more, but I was still in debt. Why? Because of the lack of discipline, lack of structure, lack of planning. And the truth of the matter is people don't just know these things, they have to be taught. And that's why I do what I do. They have to be taught. Many times, growing from our homes, we don't get to see these things. The patterns we have from many upbringings, I would say that Dr. Chizo's niece is fortunate, because a lot of people are not exposed to that. What we have is a lifestyle where a lot of people have been deprived for so long that they feel like money is hard, money is difficult, poverty is the norm. So when they see money, they start to misbehave. Like you said, behavioral. Money is 80% behavioral, only 20% is knowledge. That's why you see people know they should save, know they should invest, know they should plan, know they should live on a budget, but they never do it because it's more of a habit thing than a knowledge thing. We all have the information. The question is, do we do it? So once you start to earn an income, you can learn about these things. You may not use the credit immediately, depending on what you want to achieve per time. But I mean, it's an opportunity to take on regardless.
Great, very, very spot on. Thank you so much, Mrs. Alashi. And I think that a lot of people fear credit. I mean, they're scared, or should I say they misunderstand credit. So I wanted you to speak to how professionals should be thinking about credit.
Yeah, so one of the first things you want to know as a professional is that credit is leverage. You're using other people's money to achieve your goals at a cost, of course. It's not free, but at the end of the day, look at it this way. You want to, let me use land. It's always a good example. You want to build, and you don't have the land, but there are opportunities to buy land somewhere around you, and they come to you, you already have a job, your salary is consistent, and you can pay in installments. If the land is in a good location and on the path of development, there is certainty that that land will yield return in the future. So Getting a credit for such thing is fantastic, because why wait to save up? How long is it going to take me to save up maybe the 5 million that I need, or the 10 million, rather than use leverage now? Compared to using leverage now, it's going to take you a long time if you want to save it up. But since you have a job, the land is available today. One thing about land is you're buying it in 2026. By 2027, it's probably double the price. So why do you need to wait for that money to be saved up before you buy the land? And that's where leverage comes in. That's what we call using other people's money to your advantage. Without having to wait, you can get the things you need and then, for example, in the property case, you leave it there. What about education, certifications? There are some things that, in fact, I recommend leverage for people where you even struggle to save money. You have a struggle to save money normally. So I'll just say, you know what, to build discipline, why not put your money into a certain kind of credit where you are buying an asset and you are paying with the amount that you should save up every month that you're struggling to save. Use it as your repayments. Yeah, so credit can be used for good things, not necessarily for lifestyle, as people misuse it, and then people are afraid to use it. Again, I don't know if we have business people here as well. When we talk about credit for business, we're talking about credit as leverage when business is good, not when business is bad. Because having written credit as a banker, and all of them did very well, I know for a fact that you can get credit easily when things are going well. So depending on what you do, whether you're a career person or an employee, once you have access to credit, I'd advise you get proper advice. I mean, the banks would also advise you when you're coming to them for such credits, but it's always good. In my banking experience, I saw a lot of things. As a banker and a marketer, I had customers that would come for loans annually for their family vacation. I don't recommend that. Use your credits for things like land, use it for things like education, which will eventually bring in more income for you in the long run.
Thank you, Mrs. Alashi. And I quite agree with you, because even saving up can be very risky. You can save up 2 million naira and somebody calls you from home and say, oh, we need some money to do this. And then you have to send money, just like Mr. Kalu has said, or you want to save up for the next 5 years to buy a car. And by the time you save up for 5 years, the car has doubled the price. You get right. So I totally agree with you on this. But then I wanted you to speak to how professionals should, assess when to use credit, or when it makes sense to use credit and when it doesn't. Because I've been seeing a lot of questions about, oh, can I use credit? Can I take credit to, buy shares, do this, do that? So can you speak to how professionals should assess when it makes sense to use credit and when it doesn't?
Are you referring to Tony or Mr. Kalu?
Oh, yes, you, Mr. Dalachi.
Oh, okay,
yes.
yes. So when you should use credit, exactly some of the things I already said. When you have something that is an asset, but you don't have the ready cash for it, you can consider credit. I don't recommend credit as the first option. I recommend discipline with your current income. I mean, you should know that opportunities will come in the future. So if you're already a disciplined person, I mean, most credits in the bank might even require you to have equity anyway. So it's not just for anybody. So you have to have been a disciplined person who is frugal, who is prudent, because you still need to have the discipline to save. It's the foundation for it. So when you should use, in considering when you should use credit, is when you want to acquire something that is an asset. What is an asset? An asset is what will bring money back to you. Assets are things that you own. Liabilities are things that you owe. So anything that will bring money back to you in the future is considered an asset. So you can use credit for such things. Now, should you use credit to buy shares? I would not recommend it, because that's high risk. Share price today, the other day I was looking at my portfolio and I'm thinking, what is going on? What am I doing? So because of my discipline, my experience, I just quickly shut down the app and then I closed my eyes to it. It's supposed to be long term. So the question is, if you use the credit to buy the shares Are you expecting to pay it back from the return on the shares? If it is a yes, I won't advise it. If you're considering repaying it from your salary, perhaps you want to use it at that moment, because you're not waiting for the asset in particular to pay back the loan. You have another source to pay it. It might make sense, because some shares can really do well. But those are the instances. There's a lot of things concerning using credits that we would need to sit down with your peculiar case to discuss. Okay, go ahead. Okay, no. Because, for example, some people start out and they want to buy crypto. The first question I ask is, do you have a fallback? So before you use credit for shares, do you have money in money markets? Do you have a secure basket that you can fall back to if something goes wrong? Oh, so the shares I bought has crashed, or God forbid something happens. Can I just pull out money and just pay back creditors and I'll be at peace? Because loans can be also very sensitive and become a pain instead of leveraging if you're not careful.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Mrs. Alashe. I think I have a personal experience with this. So I didn't use credit per se, but then it was some money that was given to me to just hold. And so I decided, oh, this share is actually going up. Let me just, buy some and let's see if it appreciates. And eventually started coming down.
The very day
I had
you
to
buy.
look for some other money to, to pay back the money. And I mean, so I can totally relate with what you just explained right now. Mr. Carlo, I'm back to you. I wanted you to speak to how proper management can determine whether credit becomes useful or dangerous.
How can you rephrase that question so I
want you to speak to, yes. So I want you to speak to, or would you say that proper money management is what determines whether credit becomes useful to a professional or very dangerous?
Gotcha. So look at in terms of the life scale of the, not lifestyle, life scale of the individual. If you are younger, usually your income is lower. If you are older, you have all this experience, your income is usually higher. So when you start work today, you really don't have a lot of credit or a lot of assets. So you are trying to build assets by using leverage. Leverage is very, very important for a new guy in the market because you don't have any assets. You just have a little salary. So you are in what we call the accumulation stage. You want to get credit, accumulate assets, and just try to allow those assets to maybe grow in value. So you are buying land in some swamp, because if you leave it for over 20 years, it accumulates in value. Then when you don't have the income to build, you already have the land, then you can build. But if you are older, it's expected that your income has really gone to a peak. You're now in your consolidation stage. So at that stage, you have more income. Your need for credit is supposed to be lower. If you do it properly at that consolidation stage, your credit score is a lot higher. So even when you lend or you borrow, you are paying less per naira that you're borrowing. If you do it right when you are younger, your credit score gradually builds up, that when you want to build your home when you're in middle class or when you're in your midlife, it's cheaper for you. If you get it wrong when you start to work and you are in debt, what happens to you is that in your middle life, you can't borrow because you've got bad credit. And it's difficult to build a house without mortgage. So imagine if you can't build a house, you miss that compounding. You then have to struggle. This year you are doing foundation. Next year you are doing one wall. Next year you are doing one wall. It takes longer because you didn't do the right things when you didn't have a lot of income. So again, you've got to look at yourself at 65, then walk back to the answer. So that plan we're actually doing to say, where do I want to be in 65 years old? I want to be this educated. I want to be this in terms of my marital status. I want to have this asset. I want to live in this part of the world. If you have that picture, walk back. How can I afford to leave this part of the world? How can I afford to buy a house? Oh, do I need to do a new skill? Do I need to work with this person? You walk back to the answer. Then you take yourself back to today. Then you say, okay, I need to get credit to buy land for now. So you take small credit, You buy small land, Abi. Then as you are going along, the land is up. You buy maybe 3 or 4 plots. The land appreciates, you sell one, you fence one, you build, you start slowly. But if you miss or you mess up the credit, your ability to get credit, it's a problem. In Nigeria, we still don't have a lot of consumer credit. In America, everything is driven by credit. Your most important number is your FICO score. What's your credit score? If you want to get rich in America, you've got to own your own home and you will get the loan. But at what cost? If you do the wrong things ab initio, you pay for it down the line by having to pay more for the same loan that your colleague will get at a cheaper price. And that's why if you look at who is richest Americans, Vietnamese, Armenians. Why? They've got better credit. Who are the poorest Americans? Sorry to say, you know who I'm talking about. Why? They've got bad credit because we're not taught credit. Credit, home ownership, wealth, it's tied together because of the bad decisions they are making. You heard the speaker talk about knowledge, about if you know stuff. You heard Dr. Lester talk about, just knowing difference is knowledge. If you just know what APR is and what APY is, just having that knowledge alone saves you thousands of dollars as you go along. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu. I think this is very, very spot on. Very well said. Thank you so much. Now, we've talked about earning more intentionally, managing money wisely, and, leveraging the opportunities that are available strategically. But, beyond all of that, there is a final pillar of this conversation, which is, making sure that the success is sustainable, the ability to sustain ourselves while building the life that we want. And my first question on this segment goes to you, Dr. Chizo. So, there's a common belief in leadership that for one area of your life to, thrive, there has to be an issue with the other area. I mean, I've even heard someone in leadership position say this, that, you can't balance it. It has to be that you give one for one. And I wanted you to speak to this. Is this true? And then how do we navigate this as young professionals?
I want to be able to understand this question well. Are you talking about having work-life balance, or are you talking about balancing life?
Yes, definitely.
Recalibrate
Yes,
again.
work-life balance. So this is on work-life balance. I've heard someone senior say that, you cannot actually balance it. One has to suffer for the other. That person actually said it. I want you to speak from the leadership perspective. Is this true? And if not, how do we as young professionals deal with this?
Okay. Well, I can write a book on this, and I'm happy to, because it comes from very personal experiences. So when people speak about you can't balance something, it's got to suffer, I truly don't come from that philosophy, and I don't believe that. The only thing I can say is that everybody is in a different phase at different times. So there are things that can overweigh the other at one time or the other. So you cannot say you want to do life 50% and do work 50%. Work pressure can be sometimes 60 and family 40. And then it changes again at another time and at other times. And then, all of this is like a pendulum. So the most important thing is the individuals involved. And from a leadership perspective, again, I always love to start life and start talk with vision. Everything is about vision. You've got the right vision and you've got the framework for achieving and working towards your vision. Honestly, you would be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And so when it comes to work-life balance, I'll give a practical example. By the time I started my career, when I was early in my career, I can tell you for free, I already was married, I already had 3 kids, and I already did my work, and I already did my MBA. And by the time my kids were in boarding school, I was already a very senior manager in banking. As a matter of fact, a divisional head in financial services in banking. And there is no way that all of this did not come with challenges. I do understand why this question is important, because younger people always just tend to look at leaders and think, oh, wow, they just let them work up and they got there. Trust me, everybody had to put in the work. And every single person who had to put in the work had to have sacrifices that they made. I have been in meetings as a divisional head in banking with oversight for, and I'm not kidding about that, like 24 people and 4 solid units, right? And that takes so many meetings that you have to be a part of. When you're done with the meetings, the real work waits for you, because 24 people and 4 leaderships need guidance, approvals, authorization on so many other things. I'm not going to say I would not give them the authorization because I've got young kids waiting for me at home. I'm going to figure out the way that I would complete that process and then pick up my family where I am. Now, that's the reason why people speak about systems and structures. So some people also find the sort of structures that can help them with certain things. And I love to speak to these things because in the world of work, you come in at entry level, you find that, oh, there are more women, middle level, less women, top level, only men. And you're wondering, where are we going to draw the females from? They're all burnt out. They've all dropped off. They're all overwhelmed by what it does seem like huge challenges ahead. But I can tell you for free, none of us woke up where we are today. We all put in the work. And there is nothing like, oh, one would suffer. I do not believe that any would suffer. I do believe that if building the right systems and structures, you would have the right support that you require to keep your family balanced and be able to pursue career, except you're not even interested in career at all. But the truth is, most people drop off the career not because they are not interested, but because they are not able to figure it out. Please, if it is difficult to figure it out, find mentors and other people who've walked your path. They can help you figure out how they figured it out. Lastly, a lot of times people put pressure on themselves because they think I have to be 100% at everything. It is impossible to be 100% at everything, but it is possible to develop yourself towards excellence. And that's a different thing. And so excellent at your job, excellent at your family, excellent at your relationships, excellent at your network. I say that particularly to women. Because you've got career, because you've got family, you must have to have a great solid network. And women's network are solid network because they're very dependable. So you see other people who are walking the path you're walking, who you can draw experiences from. And so to the question, I do not strive for work-life balance. I strive for a balanced life that recognizes that all of the tripods that make life are extremely important, because you need to have a beautiful career to be able to have a supportive home. And for individuals who are not in 9 to 5 and in business, trust me, it is 9 to 5 in their own business. In fact, in their own cases, if you're in business, it's almost 24 hours. Because I've run an enterprise for 10 solid years, and I've founded many organizations and companies. So it's 12 to 12, really. There's no sleeping. You're your own accountant, you're your own sales manager, your business development, you're your own legal consult. Because first of all, you figure out what to do with a legal issue before you find the lawyer. So either way, there's no shortcuts to it. Either as an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malize. I think it's a good place to actually wrap up the session. And I think my last question would be to Mr. Kalu and Mrs. Alashe. I want you to speak to one mindset shift that you believe that we need to have to start building intentional and fulfilling life. Just one mindset shift.
Money life, Abi. Money life, Abi.
Yes, financial.
So very, very simple. Usually we earn, then we spend, and then we save. If you can just flip that around to say you want to earn, then save, no matter how small, then spend. Even if it's just 1%, start from 1%, go to 2%. Just try to do it that way. Just change your concept and say, whatever I earn, I'm going to save 1% or 2 or 5. Just do it very simple. Earn money and don't see the money. The money comes in, do auto pay. It goes to an account to invest, or it goes to your money market. Just do something like as simple as that. Put that money away. Let it work for you for years. It will just change your need for credit. It makes you more disciplined. That's a form of a plan for you to go back on. Something as simple as that can change your life in years to come. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu. Mrs. Alashe, over to you.
So for me, it would be to encourage people to have a long-term perspective when it comes to wealth building. It takes a period. So what you want to do is to envision the end and come into today and say, how much of what I currently earn can I set aside to put towards this goal I want to achieve? Always have a long-term perspective. The discipline you struggle with when it comes to your finance is as a result of the lack of long-term thinking. There is no successful person who is doing well today that does not have or has not had to think long-term. It's a form discipline.
Yes.
That's where the concept of delayed gratification also came from. If you're not focused on the long term, you will not be able to delay gratification. You'll be more driven towards instant gratification. And there is no way you want to build wealth if you're not thinking long term.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been a very wonderful time. And I must say that we have a lot of questions, but I've tried to incorporate a few in the conversations just now. So first question we have is from a participant. The person wants to know, what are the best investment options for salary earners in terms of stocks, treasury bills, and the likes? So Mrs. Alashi, please go ahead.
Sure. If you're starting out, I'd recommend you put your money first of all in a secure investment type, money market, FGN bonds, treasury bills. Those are the things. Federal government savings bonds. Those are the things I would recommend. Treasury bills. Those are the options if you're just starting out. If you already have a secure basket built and you have a fallback, always such that if there's anything, you can easily get that money out, then you can look at the stock markets. I highly recommend it any day, anytime, because the Nigerian stock market is doing very well. And also there are also other options, international market, but the Nigerian stock market is thriving and flourishing. So you can now consider assets in places like that. That's when you also consider lands, because you know why you should build your money markets and FGM bonds, first of all, because of the liquidity that it affords you. If there's an emergency, if there's something you need to do, you can easily take the money out. But if you put it in land, you're likely going to sell that land at a as a distress sale, and you could lose money if there's an emergency. So you then move from that level to stock, lands, and other investments that are available. We have commodities, we have the likes of gold, we have farm produce. So it's a whole world that you would need to gradually delve into.
Great. Thank you so much. Very well said. And Access Bank is actively running money market investments. So if you are willing to take it up, yes, please feel free to contact us. Dr. Chizo, I want you to please answer this for us. Somebody is asking how female professionals can thrive in a highly competitive industry.
We'll take that back to where we started. Number one, self-development, because you need to be building, you have to be standout. And for what men would do 20% and be recognized, the ladies got to do 40% to get that sort of recognition. And the reason being that men are very intentional about visibility, much more than females. And so Tunde, we do 20 and talk 80%. Yabo, we do 80 and talk 20%. So when you self-develop, ensure you build visibility. So do not let other people take credit for the work that you've done. So you must build visibility. You must speak to what you do. You must ensure that people give you credit for what you do. And this is very important because men and women thrive in corporations differently. I'll give you another example. 80% of times when you say, oh, who is going to stay back and do this extra work? You'll find out it's going to be Tunde. Tunde is going to put up his hands to say he's going to do that extra work. But Tunde is going to take it back to Iyabo to do, because at that time, Iyabo is just thinking about going home and cooking. And Tunde is going to be back again to Iyabo to say, you know what, that Excel sheet I even agreed to run, I was finding it difficult. So can you just help me run it? Iyabo is going to run it, put it to AI and run it immediately in 30 minutes and give it back to Tunde. And so in the meeting, same Tunde presents it. Who is going to take recognition for that? Tunde. Who's going to be promoted for it? Tunde. Who is going to be Tunde? And so women, female employees, female professionals must be deliberate about, intentional about visibility. You have to be visible. You have to take on additional work. You have to prove your worth, and you have to speak about your worth.
You have to drive ownership for the
Great.
value that you have added. Do not remain unavailable. Do not do the work and hide. Stop hiding. Be visible. That's super important.
Thank you so much, Ma. Stop hiding, be visible. Thank you so much for that. And I think that a lot of us are going to lean towards what you just said as professionals. Thank you so much. Mr. Carlo, this is for you. And I think you mentioned something along this line before, but I need you to reiterate it. This person is asking, how can women stay disciplined with savings, investments, and personal goals?
How can he learn discipline? Yeah, so just remember that on your own, you can't do it without automation and discipline. Don't try to use technology to your favor. If you earn money, like I will just give you a pathway. If you are younger, right, you want to do more of equities because you have more compounding periods. It's more risky, but you have more compounding periods. As you get older, you can move to fixed income. So what you want to do is to say, okay, you get your paycheck, you have your stockbroker, you have your money market person, determine how much you want to invest, do an automatic debit from your account to those accounts. That's going to be, if you go back to the plan we said, number one, you have a plan. Number two, you do life insurance. Number three, you do your emergency fund. That's just 3 to 6 months. Number four, you do your PFA. You make sure you're matched out there before you start to invest a kobo. But you do automatic deductions. It goes to those guys and it's investing. You have to answer a question. Why are you investing? Once you can answer why you're investing, it's easier for you. If you're trying to build a house, and you are saving money to invest, it gives me more motivation and more discipline. Say, okay, I'm saving this money in this money market because in 10 years, I want to go and build my house. If I just put money aside, then you can take that money and go shopping. So always say why you're investing, link everything back to a master plan. So if you're buying this money market fund today, it's because it's part of this plan that I have in next day. So don't try to use technology. I like all this, what these new apps do, all this bamboo and that they lock up your money. You give the bank, say, we'll lock it up for you. Use those things because you just understand that Nigeria is also very, very tough. We don't have credit, so we use a lot of cash to get out of emergencies. I get that, but there'll be an emergency every single day. So just be very, very clear. Have an emergency fund. Once that is burnt, it's burnt. But try to, as your young person, remember, there's something I used to tell people to do. Calculate your age, and when you want to retire, you get total number of paychecks. If you do, you get maybe 200 and maybe 140 paychecks. That's all. So if you're like 30 years old and going to retire in about 60, 30 minus 6, that's about 30. 30 multiplied by 12. How much is that? That's the total number of paychecks you're going to get. So basically, life is telling you that you're going to use all these paychecks to marry, build a house, send your kids to Harvard. Everything you want to do is going to come seed from that paycheck. If you have that in your mind, then you say, okay, I have this plan. I'm going to use technology. I'm going to ask questions. You have bosses. They are richer than you. Ask them, I want to invest. How did you invest? Learn from their mistakes. If you don't have to go to YouTube. You work in a bank. There's a guy right next to you. So ask him, how did you invest? Let him tell you, because you want to learn from their mistakes, learn from their experiences, and then you sort of also do what they are doing, right? So you take a learning approach, you soak up knowledge, and then you implement with discipline. I think that you're going to be, like Dr. said, I wrote it right here, knowledge is the difference. If you know, you've already succeeded. The worst people are the people that know and don't do anything. That's the worst. You know, but you don't do anything, then it's bad. But if you know, you've already succeeded. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlo. And he rightly wraps the session up with saying that knowledge is the difference. And which is why we have brought this session to you, just to enlighten you to know that this is how to be more intentional when it comes to managing your 9 to 5 to build wealth for yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Malizi. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaluaja. Thank you so much, Mrs. Toyin Alashi. It's been a wonderful session with you. We are so delighted that you've engaged with us and, for sharing so much insight, so much experience that you have and everything you've poured into us today. I am sure that everyone on this call today will go back to rethink how they have been managing their 9 to 5 and will do better going forward. Now, as we begin to wrap up today's session, would like to take a few moments to, share some valuable opportunities and offerings specially designed to support professionals in their personal and financial journeys. At Access Bank, we remain committed to not just empowering women through conversations such as this, but also through practical solutions and offerings that help them grow and thrive and to also achieve their goals. And so to take us through some of these available offerings, please welcome with me from the Consumer Asset Team of Access Bank, Isheoluwa Akinduko. Hi, Isheoluwa, are you here?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed hearing everything from beginning to end. I was just like, are they really coming to me? Okay, let's do this. So I'm not going to take much of our time. I'm sure we're all very tired. So just as she said, we've already mentioned some of the key benefits of things like investments and all the rest. And honestly, as a banker myself, I have learned a few things. But let's just get into what is it that you can benefit from us as an Access Bank customer. So let's go to the everyday banking account, right? So everyday banking accounts, you come to Access Bank, you want to take a loan, you want to take, I don't know, you would like to take a loan, you want to even apply for some other propositions. You're going to need a salary current account or a salary savings account to be able to enjoy free banking with us because there's zero maintenance fee. You can access your funds anytime. We even have accounts that are for children. We call that the early savers account. We have a high interest deposit account where you could actually earn more than you would on your normal savings account, which is shown on the second slide, the next slide. Yes, thank you. So for any of us who wants to just look at that, and for the early savers, you can access up to 5 million naira for educational loans. And with this account, you can access them through your Access More app at any time. Now, this is just to say, okay, this is the entry points to get what is the value that we are trying to sell to you. What are those value-added services? The salary account is the gateway. What are the value-added services? We have our digital loans, credit cards, vehicle finance, the personal loans, our asset leases, our home loan, we call it the mortgage, exclusive plus, and of course, for the ladies in the house, we have a W Health loans. So what is the personal loan? Personal loan is very straightforward. It's designed for employees in themselves. You achieve what goal, you need some cash, you want to get financial independence. As long as you're a salary earner, this is for you. As long as 3 years, which is quite fantastic for all of us who are in need of that. We have the vacation finance. You want to quickly, you need to go anywhere. It's in the name, right? You want to go somewhere, you have a dream destination. You would like to go to some of us, maybe Turkey. You want to go to Dubai. You want to go to wherever it is. We have a loan that covers that. We have our advance for school fees. It covers for primary school, secondary, and tertiary institutions, so like universities, colleges, and we're not even covering it just in Nigeria, even abroad. Yes, if you want to fund for your masters, this is available. Then we have another loan. Yes, thank you very much. We have another loan available. We call it the digital loan. This one is quick, fully automated, no documentation required, no need to visit a branch. Just dial the code, which is on the 901 start at 11, or you could put it onto the it's started. And you can enjoy 50% or 200, 400 salary. Yeah, as 12 months. Then we also have the vehicle loan. I love this one. We have the vehicle finance. The vehicle finance says, okay, you need a car from brand new to owned, even to trucks. We can support you up to 200 million naira for as long as a 4-year repayment tenure. The minimum of equity contribution, of course, depending on the property you bring. We also have the mortgage. Ooh, we have the mortgage for any one of us interested. You want, and this is actually a very big investment. Because I mean, you are investing in a property. Properties always value. This is a good investment. Yes, it's a to repay. I mean, definitely it's good investment for us. Here we have the Emirates mortgage scheme. Some of us might have heard of it, maybe on the news or anywhere. It's a government initiative. So interest rates, you might have even seen it in the newspapers or something. It's 9.75%. It's so delicious because it's a single interest mortgage, and you can access up to 100 million naira as long as you are between the ages of 21 to 25, because if you are 60, you're above the lending age limit. So 21 to 55, then you have like 5 years to repay if you are perhaps 55 years old. But the maximum tenure is 20 years. Good thing about it is if you actually need more than 100 million, you can combine it with our standard and get depending on how expensive the property is. Then we have our asset leases. Yes, we have an asset lease. We have an asset lease. An asset lease is, oh, you want to buy something for your house, household financing. You need something in the kitchen. You need electronics. You even need. We cover all of this, laptops, cover all of this. You see that Access Bank are thinking of you in every single way. We want to cover you on the road. We want to cover you in your home. We want to cover the home itself. We are here for you in that. So we have the asset lease product as well. Then let's go to our 6W loan. For our ladies in the house, we have a loan that covers your healthcare needs. Even not just for you. It covers maternal care. It covers cancer support. And you can access up to 10 million naira. And the good thing about this is that it doesn't just that apply for a woman. If you are a husband and you need this loan for your wife, you can apply for her, because I mean, it is for women, women and their families. Then we also have, oh yes, oh wow, if I was also going talking. Yes, we have so many opportunities and other propositions that if any of us are interested, of course, we are able to answer you and tell you more about it. So that is where I will start now. Ifelua.
Thank you so much, Ishel Dua. I think the network was a little bit dramatic, but I'm sure that a lot of us got a few of the things that the Access Bank has in stock for us. Now, we have a feedback form, a link to a feedback form that is circulating now. And I'm sure that so many of us have one or two things they would be needing to, for their life goals at the moment. And so would like you to fill the feedback form. Let us know what you're interested in. If you want credit, please fill it as well. Let us know, and so that we can engage you after this session. So please make sure to fill the feedback form. And once you're done, make sure that you follow us across our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and X at the W Community. And make sure to click the subscribe button down below so that you get first-hand information every time we bring to you insightful and important conversations such as this. Thank you once again, Ishel Lua. It was a pleasure having you. So once again, I'd like to say a very special thank you to our amazing speakers for sharing their time and their experiences. Valuable insight we've gotten today. I'm sure that a lot of us are already rethinking how we approach our 9 to 5, and we're thinking already of how we can build with. And so we truly, truly appreciate your contributions to this session, Dr. Chizo Malizi, Mr. Kalu Aja, and Mrs. Toyin Alashi. Please make sure to fill the feedback form before you go so that we're able to contact you for whatever needs you may have. And so to everyone who has joined us today, like whether you joined on YouTube or whatever platform, thank you so much for your engagement, your comments, and everything. Thank you so much for joining. We hope that today's session has inspired you to become more intentional when it comes to your career journey, your financial growth, and the life that you're building for yourself. Now, as we have heard throughout today's conversation, your 9 to 5 can be more than just a source of income for you when you approach it intentionally. It can give room for growth, it can give room for better opportunities, it can give room for impact, very long-term success, whatever it is that you want to achieve. Just like Dr. Malize said, you need to have a vision. You can always achieve that vision, even with your 9 to 5. Even if you feel like, oh, I'm still earning small today, you can always achieve whatever you put your mind to. And so we encourage you to take away that practical lesson from today's session and begin to apply it intentionally in your professional journey. And on behalf of the W Initiative of Access Bank, we'd like to thank you once again for joining us on the W Career Woman series today. We do this almost every month, and so please make sure you follow us so that you can get first-hand information when sessions like this are being brought to you. Thank you very much. Do stay connected with us for more impactful conversations like this. My name is Ifeoluwa Omoto, and it has been an absolute pleasure moderating this session with you. Have a great day, everyone.
Well done, Ifeoluwa, for an excellent moderation. Thank you for a lovely evening with you and Access W team.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Chizo.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. And Dr. Kalu, let's connect. I hope he hasn't run off. My alumni.
He's left.
He left already. All right. And lovely to connect with you, Nene. Lovely to connect with you, Tony. I hope we get to meet soon and then do other things that are greater.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll reach out to you, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Awesome.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Tony.
Thank you,
Yes.
Nene. Thank
Well
you.
done, Ife.